services means is going on presently. I think right the people will be writing paper 3 right now. So we will begin the session here. Right. I hope you are able to see this screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, like before starting, I am Mayank Malviya. I am mentor and educator at Planet Geology. I have with us, Lawrence sir. He is also a mentor and educator at Planet Geology, and we also have Apoorv Dixit sir today with us. Apoorv sir is IFS officer of, and he secured all India rank of 11 in IFS 2021, and he's presently undergoing training in Labasna. Right. So. All right. So, like in this session, we will be discussing about strategy of preparing forestry optional, as well as about the course which we have floated, which is around just 50 hours of course, and it is led by Apoorv sir only, right? So, about forestry optional, like most of you might be knowing that it is one of the most popular optional in forest services, right? And it is one of the shortest syllabus among of all the optional, and that is why it is so popular, right? So like this year around 1800 people are writing IFS means, right? And I think statistically speaking, on the basis of experience of last years, I think 90% of them, right, over 1600 or even more than that will be having forestry optional. So large number of people opt for forestry because it is pretty easy to understand, it has short syllabus, and it is scientific, right? It is pretty much like agriculture, which we all understood to some extent, and based on that it is there, right? And the most important thing about forestry is that this optional can be prepared in a very short span of time. Like for example, for civil services, we prepare for months, for even sometimes up to years, right? 9 months to even 1.5 year or more, and then we complete the syllabus, right? But this forestry people manage this in 15 to 20 days also, right? And I think this is the maximum time some people manage forestry within 12 to 15 days itself. So we will talk on this, how to approach the syllabus, how to cover it, how the course can help, and Apoorv sir will be helping on this, right? Another important part of forestry is that it has a lot of overlap in terms of understanding vis-a-vis environment, ecology, geography, right? The agriculture which we read for civil services means, right? And like, so basically it has a lot of overlap with general studies, right? So that is also very helpful, and that is one of the factor why we are able to complete it in a short span of time, right? And not only uh, short completion, forestry also yield pretty good marks, right? So just by preparing this much time, people are managing in excess of 50 to 55%, and some people are also stretching it to up to 65%, right? Every year we see some people scoring in this range also. So 50% marks can pretty easily be scored in forestry if you prepare it strategically, and okay. So I'll very briefly show you the syllabus, right? This is the syllabus, we'll share this also. So this is the syllabus of forestry. So like any other optional, it is also divided into two paper, right? Paper 1, paper 2. This paper 1 is divided into two sections, section A and section B, right? So section A has topics like silviculture system, right? Then the specific, they have mentioned mangroves and cold desert silviculture of trees, right? So basically this is all about silviculture. You can see one common term, and silviculture, by your general knowledge, you must be knowing that it is art and science of cultivating and harvesting trees, right? Just like we have agriculture, in agriculture we harvest, we cultivate food crops, generally even commercial crops. Here it is all about trees, right? So forestry is mostly about trees, right? This is that part. Then apart from that, in paper section 2, you can see there are some generic topic like agroforestry, social forestry, right? Joint forest management. So a lot of these terms you might have already read in your gender studies, right? So this sounds pretty familiar. Then there are forest, soil conservation, watershed management. These are also GS like topic, right? They have some additional dimension of trees and forest, right? That we'll discuss, right? And then some more general topic like environment conservation, biodiversity. So here there is pollution and all these things. So this is pretty much Shankar IS, or whatever we study for prelims, whatever source you have for prelims environment and ecology. So it is pretty much the same, right? Ozone layer depletion, acid rain, all those things. So these are all pretty much manageable. Then this is little bit technical topic, tree improvement, seed technology, but all these also we have read somewhere in our 11th, 12th, and somewhere else, right? So how we can hybridization, and then various methods of in seed technology, and then some basic genetics, right? Nothing more than that. And then there comes the paper two. In paper two, we have this again section A, section B. In section A, we have some technical topics like forest management, management system. Then there is forest working plan, forest mensuration, right? So if we go in a forest, how what all things we measure mathematically, the diameter, right? Volume of the tree. How do we come to say that in India has 300 billion tons of carbon stock? All those things, right? So the very basic thing. Then some forest engineering, right? The roads we build in the forest, the bridges, the dams, all those things, some basics of those things, right? And then the last section is forest ecology and ethnobotany, right? So this that is there. Then this is important topic, forest resource utilization, what all resources we get in from forest and how we utilize them. And then these two, forest protection and forest economics, right? So these are pretty simple topics, right? Okay. So this is the last slide which I'll cover, and then I'll hand it over to Apoorv sir for his perspective on the various aspects of forestry, right? So uh, if we talk about the critical units, the key units, right? The units which are technical, I think these 5 units are the most important one, right? So if you are devoting, suppose you are devoting 100 hours or 150 hours to forestry, so I think these five topics might take 60 to 65% of your time, because these are something which are new to you, and these are the only technical topic, right? So these topics like these, right? This is the first topic, silviculture and silviculture system, right? These two topics are somewhat technical, and apart from that, this is something new to you, right? But not that difficult, right? Tree improvement one, and then these two topics, right? One is forest management and forest mensuration. So in these two topics, most of the students face a lot of problem, right? Problem is also due to because non availability of organized content, right? So these five topics are the most critical topic, and I think we have covered this quite well in the lecture, right? As well as in the syllabus, right? And the last thing is about some commonly referred book, right? So most of the people prepare forestry based on some basic book, right? So this is the most common book that we call at Manikandan and Prabhu book, right? It is widely available in the market. So most of the people read this book. And then there is also this Aris Khanna book, but it is not very commonly available, and it is like multi-volume book, right? So that is the only problem. The problem with this book is that although it has compiled a lot of content, but it is not very organized, right? Sometimes it is not only also logical in its flow, right? So that is why we kind of face a student kind of face a lot of problem in completing the forestry and getting good marks, right? So that is one of the issue. So like we were getting a lot of queries and requests, so we requested Apoorv sir to help student in this aspect. So because of that, we have come up with this crash course for forestry, right? So this is Planet Geology's forestry crash course. So basically, this crash course, just about the crash course, this crash course is something around somewhere around 50 hours only, right? So in 50 hours of video lecture, we have tried to complete most of the syllabus of forestry optional, right? And the most important aspect of this is this course is that this course is mentored by a successful candidate by Apoorv sir himself, right? So Apoorv sir himself gave the exam just last year. He's pretty fresh also. So he has given his wisdom and his content in the course, right? So he is the lead mentor of the course, and most of the lectures are taken by Apoorv sir. Some topics, some small units are taken by other mentors also, but mostly Apoorv sir has taken most of the classes, right? And this is almost a one-stop solution to forestry optional. I think sir will be able to tell you more, but by just doing this course and revising it multiple time, revising the notes multiple time, you can surely score in excess of 55 to 60% marks, right? That is one thing. And then these are some other aspect, that the class lectures are in English language, right? So language of the medium is English. The validity of the course is of 3 months, right? So like we said, we can cover the syllabus in 20 to 25 days, right? But you will have access for about 100 days, right? So that is another thing. In this course, we will give you downloadable handwritten notes of Apoorv sir, right? They are very crisp and exam oriented notes. All right. So this is what we wanted to share about the course. We will open the session for your question answers also very soon. So now just before that, we will take some frequently asked question, right? So I would like Abu sir to join in, and sir, okay, sir, we can start with some of these question, right?
Yes, sir. So, should I take over, or will you be asking question, or should I be answering?
Like I can ask this question first that sir, firstly,
Right.
how to okay, Apu, so how to approach the forestry syllabus, right? Especially with the need of the student, right? A lot of students are writing civil means now, and they will be having just 50 to 55 days to prepare, and also a lot of them will be having a new other optional, right? Maybe geology or maybe some other optional. So keeping in mind this time constraint, how one should go about approaching the forestry syllabus?
So, firstly, with respect to forestry, I think you've made my job very easy because you've already told most of the things that people are worried about. So, as sir has said, this forestry as an optional, it doesn't take a lot of time actually. Okay. So, if you have how many days are there between civil mains and forest mains? I think 50 days, right?
50-55 days this time, like
55 days.
55 days.
Right. So if you have 55 days now, so trust me, most of the time would be taken by the other optional. Forestry would not take more than 15 and maximum 20 days. That is max if you want to really spend some more time. But I don't think it takes more than 15 to 20 days in the best case, in the worst case. So as sir has said about the syllabus, so as you know, there is paper one section A and paper two section A. These are the more technical part, and these are the more this is a part that will take most of your time because paper both of the section B of be it of paper one and or of paper two, they are fairly straightforward. They are very theoretical in nature. For example, agroforestry is there in paper one section B. You know what agroforestry is, and it's a very theoretical thing. Advantages क्या होती हैं, disadvantages क्या होती हैं. It's pretty straightforward. Then watershed management, you already know. Forest soil, you've already read about the various kind of soils in India. You've already read in your geography for prelims. So these are the sections that you know it very well. But paper one section, this is fairly technical because you have most of I think when I started forestry, silviculture was the thing that I was hearing for the first time. So there are various aspects of silviculture. This is slightly more technical, so it will take some time. Again, with respect to paper two, section A will take a lot of time because it has forest mensuration. Mensuration, you know, it basically means measurement. So forest mensuration is measuring the various parts of the tree. So be it diameter, height, volume, etc. Then you have this topic of forest management. Ki, when do you sow some seed? When do you sow seeds? When do you cut seed? When how to use those harvests? So that is the part of forest management. So again, that part will take a lot more time as compared to the other part. Then we have paper 2 section B, which is again very theoretical because I don't think there is anything to understand in it. There would be theory and you'll have to mug up. So that's mostly about the syllabus. Okay. The main purpose you have to remember is you are reading this for 50 days. You are preparing for an optional. Don't try to do PhD in it. Don't try to do your bachelor's in it. Simply, you just need to make sure that you are you've oriented yourself well for the examination. All you need to know कि आपसे एग्जाम में सारे क्वेश्चन आंसर होने चाहिए. इससे ज्यादा कुछ भी नहीं. ठीक है. So that should be that. You should always keep this in mind. Otherwise, there is again, it's an entire field that people spend years and years studying it. In fact, as a part of training wheel, I myself would be studying for forestry for years now. So you have to remember, you have to prepare for, you're preparing for the examination. All you need to know is कि आपको उस जो भी 400 मार्क्स का पेपर होता है, try to score around 200, 220, 240. 240 is towards the higher side. I don't think more than one person got more than 240. I think anything around 200, 220 is a very good score, and that is good enough to clear this examination. So that's the overall basics about forestry as an optional.
All right. So if anybody want to ask some question, they can also ask. Otherwise, I will be asking.
Maybe, sir, we can finish this most of the
Okay.
questions so that
Okay.
we already have all the questions. We'll
Okay.
cover most of the doubts in any
Okay.
case.
So, sir, in like you explained about the syllabus and the nitty-gritty of it. So, how one can make use of this crash course, the so-called 50 hours crash course. So, what is the best way or to get the maximum output from the course?
So the best way to go about the course is I have in all the chapters there are my handwritten notes attached. So firstly, get a printout of my handwritten notes. All right. So that is your base, and that is most of the things that I have taught is from those notes itself. Okay. So get the printout of the notes and then start watching the videos. So the course is about 50 hours of course is there. So remember, in this examination, especially for forest services, you have to have intensity is the most is the keyword here. So you have to make sure ऐसा मत करना कि 50 hours हैं, so I'll there are 55 days, I'll watch 1 hour 1 hour every day. Don't go like this. Whenever you're studying forestry, devote a good chunk of your day for forestry, and in that, if you go with that the way I'm telling you, you'll be able to finish the entire. I think if the videos are of 50 hours, try to cover them in about let's say 7 days, 8 days, not more than, don't take more than 7 to 8 days to cover complete the video. Get a printout of my notes, start watching the lectures. You won't need any reference when you're studying for the watching the videos. You won't need any reference book, nothing. All you need to do, get a printout of my notes, start watching the videos. In 7 to 8 days, you should be able to complete the entire video part. So this will cover the base of your, this will make the base of your preparation. Once you are done with that, and whenever I'm teaching, I'm going to go a little bit here and there and give you a lot of things extra. So try to scribble down in those notes itself. Once you get the printout, scribble in the notes itself. So in 7 to 8 days, you'll have your entire syllabus completed in one go, and now you can start start adding some more value to it. So after that, you can actually read some other subject. You can go take a break of 1 or 2 days, read English, read GS, whatever you want, and then come back again with the same notes and try to add more value to the notes. So how you start learning. So again, this is like in other optional for services. This will involve a lot of mugging up, especially with respect to scientific names of the trees, etc. Developed, and a lot of examples also. So how do you go about it is, once you're done with my notes, once you're scribbled, just go through the notes and try to add value and try to mug up those notes. Okay. The complete notes would not be more than 200 to 220 to 30 pages, I think. Okay, so I don't think mugging up would take a lot of time after that. So devote most of the time mugging up. Don't make your own notes out of it. Maybe you can after just before the examination, just this final part, you can make very short notes. Like if my notes are 220 pages, your short notes should not exceed more than 50 pages. That is max. Those short notes should contain only the technical part, that part that we generally tend to forget, like be it some sort of examples, be it names of the scientific species, be it the silviculture system, or of the syllabus. Those are something you can actually jot down in your notes. But other than that, my notes are sufficient. Even if you don't want to make your own notes, even that will do, because these were the 220 to 30. This is what I took with myself for the examination. Not a word, not a page more, not a word more. Just these 230 pages, that those were good. Those are good enough to get up 50% of the marks. 200 कहीं नहीं जा रहे in notes के बाद. Then after that, it's your value addition, it's your writing capability, it's your presentation that will take from 200 to 230 to 240, and that is what we are trying to aim.
All right. Okay. So that, like you mentioned, Apurv, about writing skill and getting additional marks, right, for forestry. So in this, there are like two questions. One is, should we how should we mug up scientific names of various trees, and how many trees are there whose name we should mug up, or is it not important to mug up? That is one thing. And another question is, in terms of answer writing, like what in your opinion is the key? Should we make diagrams? Should we use color pencil or something like that?
See, with respect to your question, sir, I think making learning the names of the scientific names of the trees are extremely important. Like everybody would remember the common name like mango name. Everybody understands it. But once you start, you have to technicalize your answer. You just can't get away with writing mango or writing neem or writing like sal and teak directly. Write the name of the name of the scientific name of the species, and that is why throughout the syllabus, when I'm throughout the lectures when I've taught, I've always tried to maintain that I'm taking those names again and again, again and again. Like Shoria Ravasta, you'll keep on hearing. You'll get sick of hearing Shoria Ravasta, Tectona Grandis. And trust me, there are not more than 30 names. Even 30 names is even a bit too much. There are 15, 50 names that keep on repeating. And maybe a few names, like in case of medicinal plants or aromatic plants, there would be some more names. So just even if you what you do is take a piece of paper, and whenever I'm taking a name or scientific name, try to jot down all the tree species, and try to jot down all the names or scientific names of the trees, and stick that in front of you. Within I think within 2-3 days you'll be very familiar. You will stop calling mango and you'll be calling it Magnifera indica. So that is how familiar you become with it. Okay. Even I haven't studied for forestry for so long, even I would remember those names for now. Okay. आपको पर्सपेक्टिव बदल जाता है देखने का. ठीक है. तो try to memorize as many names as possible, because that is what is going to set apart your answers from the answers of those who have not studied that much. So learning the names of scientific species and giving a lot of examples, that would actually make your answer stand out from the others. Okay. With respect to your second question, as to the presentation, the presentation in forestry optional. See, in generally the thing is, you have to in forestry and in general in most of the optional forest services, you don't have to write conclusions as such, because most of the questions are very scientific. You just need to start with an introduction, start with a definition mostly, and then go about answering the way you are answering GS as well. Diagram would be extremely important. Try to draw as many diagrams as possible. It is very important that you make your answers very illustrative, and try to and it is perfectly possible. See, once you write the forestry paper, you will understand it doesn't take more than it won't take more than 2 or 15 minutes, 2 or 30 minutes to complete the paper. If you go with the speed you write in GS, it doesn't take more than 2:15 to 2:30. 2.5 घंटे 2.25 घंटे से ज्यादा नहीं लगते हैं. ठीक है. So you have enough time to beautify your answers. Try to use pencil color. Try to use different color pens. So what I did in my paper was, always I used to write headlines with black. Okay. All the answers was in blue, and whenever I used to draw the diagram, I used to draw it with pencil and use green color for. So if I'm making a diagram of a tree, I'll use a green color. If I'm illustrating different species, I use different color pencils. So that is how you actually improve your presentation, and that is how you're going to stand apart. See, if you are covering anything in 14 days, there would not be much content as such, and that is true for all the people. Nobody comes from with MSc forestry or BSc forestry. So most of the people have studied for this much time. So how do you differentiate yourself from others? By writing more technical answers, in terms of giving more examples, or in terms of or standing out in terms of presentation, using using flowcharts, using diagrams, using various color pens, and that is how you differentiate yourself from others, and that is exactly what you're aiming to do.
All right. Okay. Like there is one question, but I'll ask a couple of more questions, and we'll move on to that. So one thing is that like there are a lot of queries that after the course, along with going through the course and the videos, will we need to should we purchase the book, and should we read it word by word, or we don't need it? What is your take on it?
See, with respect to book, I would say buy the book. Okay, it is not a bad investment at all. So just get a book, Manikanandan. Trust me, you won't need it. That is something I'm telling. You just keep it for reference. Just that to make sure that you don't have this anxiety ki maybe I've read something less, or you would feel once you are done with the syllabus, na, you would feel ki Apoorv sir ne to kuch padhaya hi nahi hai. But once you go through the book, you'll realize ki everything is covered, and that's the only content that is needed. Okay, so get the book. Okay, most of the time you would need it. Generally, Manikanandan Prabhu is people refer it for more technical part. Paper 1 section A and paper 2 section A. Both those parts are covered very comprehensively. There is not a word more that needs to be studied. So you won't need book. Keep it with you. if you need ever need to find out key, if you want to read anything extra, you feel key you need to get some additional point, you can refer that, but trust me, you won't need it.
Okay, all right, fair enough. And one last thing is that should a student make their own handwritten notes before the examination? Right, they will be reading mostly from your notes, but after that, is it necessary, or what is your take on it?
See, I've touched upon this question in my earlier answer as well. So my notes are about 220 to 30 pages approximately. All right. So those notes would serve as your base. But before the examination, it is not possible to revise those 30 pages, right? So what do you do is make very short notes, very short note, and that too after maybe after you're done with the reading, after you're done with the first reading, after you're done with the second reading, and you're worked up a little, then you start making very short notes, and those short notes should crisply contain only like the scientific names of the species or the examples. Think more. Don't write definitions. You'll be able to write definitions. Advantage, disadvantage, you'll be able to remember. You can write a definition, but definitely not advantage wala part. Okay. Just write a definition and get more examples. Write the names of the scientific species, and that would be enough for your note. So don't make sure your the short notes hai na, they don't exceed more than 30, 50, maximum 50 pages, not more than that.
Okay. So I think the voice is थोड़ा सा कट रहा है बीच में. Maybe it is my network or your network issue. Okay, but it's all right.
Okay. Should I repeat? If is
Hmm.
my voice clear right now?
Like, is the voice audible to others?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then the issue
All right.
might be at my end. Okay. Okay, so we can take you can also ask questions, all those students who are present here. I'll repeat one question for Somana. Like, she has asked in the chat that she hasn't taken biology in 11th and 12th standard because of her fear of memorizing things and biology, all these things. So will forestry be hard for her? Like, does forestry have a lot of biology or other related things?
See, I don't think it has a lot of biology as such, but definitely there are things you have to mug up. So if you are giving forest services veins, you have already mugged up a lot. There's definitely you have done most of the hard yards already. Okay. So if you are able to if you're eligible to appear in forest services veins, it's a cakewalk for you. Okay. It's not it doesn't take a lot of mugging up. I think your other options like geology involves a lot of mugging up. All right. In forestry, there is very little. There are things that you have to remember, but not compared to the scale in which we are talking about in geology. So just it should be easy. I don't think having biology or not having a biology could be an advantage or disadvantage as such.
All right. So Manna, again, she's asking that she is quite new to forest. I think Apurv can also read.
Uh, just a second, I'll have to open the chat.
Okay, look, she's saying ki, will the crash
Uh,
course be sufficient, or will she have to, like, or we some other course, comprehensive courses needed for her for forestry?
See, I think this crash course is a bit of misnomer. This is as comprehensive as a course that can ever be made on forestry. I don't think anything more needs to be done, because even if you make a full like this crash course is actually a misnomer, because even if you make a full course now, it won't be a video or no or a page extra than this.
Right, right. So
So
like,
it is good enough. You can comfortably, even if you're a beginner, you can comfortably go through the lectures, and it would not be an issue. You'll feel it very easy optional.
right, right. And like, this is what you should take from the session also, that forestry need not be prepared like you prepare for other optional, right? It has to be prepared within 1 month. If you are devoting more than that time, then it is basically you are wasting the time, right? So you should devote your time to other things, and forestry has to be done intensely, like Apu said, and it has to be done in short time, right? In intense short burst of time. So this is it.
Yeah. And also, I would like to add another thing is your aim should be answering previous year question papers. Okay, you should be able to answer previous year question paper, but that doesn't mean that you need to get the answer of all the previous year question paper. There would be questions that are outliers that have been asked for just 1 year, have never been repeated, because some questions are such that yet even the forestry graduate would find very difficult to answer. Okay, so go about the previous year question paper, and you should be able to answer about 90% of them. If you are able to answer 90% of them, you are in good hands. You are in in the right direction. that is what you should be aiming, and don't go for just going after previous year question paper that has been asked once in 20 years. Also remember one thing. Paper pattern was different before 2010-11. Okay, so before 2010-11, this examination for forest service was very different from what we have right now. So back then there were used to be a lot of forestry graduate who used to appear in this. So that time the paper was very technical, back in before 2009 2010. So whenever you are reading previous year question paper na, if you are reading it, if the question is before 2009 na, take it with a pinch of salt. After 2009 2010, the questions have become very straightforward, because forestry graduates are not able to clear the forest prelims, and they are not able to appear in the mains itself. So previous year paper, you should be able to answer previous year question paper, but make sure you don't run after that niche PYQ की वो एक बार आया तो और आप उसके पीछे भाग रहे हो, उसके पीछे समय मत खराब करना बस. So that is another thing. That is one thing that I wanted to add.
And like Pratik is he's writing means IFS means this year, and he has fear of answer writing. He feels that he is not well prepared, right? So something related to answer writing. So can you tell something on it?
Yeah, so with respect to answer writing, trust me, if you are, even if you have not very good with answer writing in GS, forest in general, forest service examination is easier with respect to answer writing. The reason being, because it's a scientific paper, so every question has just one answer. Unlike, let's say, history, sociology, or let's say geography, in those papers, in those humanities kind of subject, every question can have 20 different answer and 20 different correct answer. In geology or or in forestry, every a question has just one answer. So if you're good with this, if you have a good content, if you're if you're mugged up if you have basic notes, that would be good enough to answer. So that you don't really need answer writing skill as such. You should be able to reproduce your notes in the examination. That's it.
Yes, and like I would like to add that Pratik, like these are scientific subject, right? So you are this you if you want to overcome your fear of answer writing 5 to 6 times the answer, right? Like there is just definition, and then there is scientific part which is there, right? So here revision is the key. If you revise, and you revise by writing on piece of paper, something like that, you will be able to write an exam, right? Aditi, want to ask about the importance of test in forestry, right? After completing the syllabus, should how many tests should we write or something like that? So you are take like the same thing.
I think this is these are see generally you need for developing the answer writing skills, because answer writing skills are not as required as imperative as in, let's say, GS paper. I think you can get away without writing even a single answer. But my advice would be, try to write one paper, just one paper, and even for that, just pick up previous year question paper. Pick up 2021 paper or maybe 2016 paper. Just write one paper so that you're comfortable, like that you're comfortable and you're confident that you would be able to complete the examination in the stipulated time. That you do not you would that you you're not taking. You will realize, like, when I first gave the test, I think the first paper I completed in 2 hours 5 minutes or something. So I was actually very shocked with myself. Yeah, ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ. In GS, I think it will stretch up to 3 hours. So you will just to get that confidence that you are able to write, and that you are comfortable, just write one paper. But other than that, I would advise very strongly against writing any test series or something. Just write one paper, and that should be enough. Mind sir, you are not audible as such.
Hello. Okay, I'm audible,
Yeah,
right?
yes, you're audible now. Yes, you're audible now.
Okay. Any else? Anyone? Okay. So Sumana, want is there will be a provision of checking our answer if we write few if they join the course? Okay. So like she's asking, see if she writes some answers, we'll be able to check it or not, right? So I can answer this one, right? So like see, Sumana, see, Apoorv sir is already in training, right? He has recorded the course, so he might not have the time, but you can surely write few answers. You can send us. He can review whenever he's free, right? It might take some time. You can even I can also review it for you. So we can do that, but we don't guarantee that we will be able to check full 3 hours of test or something like that. But we will definitely be able to check few answers and give you some feedback on your skill, right?
Trust me, once you start writing the answer, you would feel you don't even need to write a lot of answer. If you will just use if you just send a few that we can actually go through very quickly. You can just you're just skimming over. You can tell ki if you're in right direction or not. Generally, it is the content, but that you should be focusing on more.
Right. So anyone else, Prashant or Avi,
You can
anybody
even
want to ask?
if you don't want to type, you can just ask the question. You can just unmute yourself. You can ask the question right now.
Sir, I wanted to know about a general thing, like that there are the physical test and the medical test in forest services exam. What does the medical test comprise of? Like there is a height, weight, like parity or something, or other things and all. I just wanted to know that.
Yeah, so in medical test, it's generally very similar to what you have in civil services as well. I think there are some eligibility criteria. Mostly, you should be able to, this should not be a problem. Just check the notification exactly. See, there's a height test, there's a height and weight, everything. These things are measured, but I don't think I have not seen many people, falling below that. So just check the eligibility criteria once because I'm not exactly aware ki exactly kitna height or kitna weight ka I don't think there is any any minimum weight required, but height I think there is, but that is they are pretty lenient about it. So that is something you should not be very worried about right now.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So I think this Prashant and Aditi want to know when the course will start, right? So the course will be released on next Sunday, right? It may also be released on Saturday itself. So all right. So the course will be pre-recorded one. We have almost recorded all the syllabus, and it will be released at one go, right? So it will be available on your portal from Sunday, next Sunday. Okay. Any other question?
So I think there are questions in the chat.
Okay. So like somebody is asking, there a course available for GS paper of IFS? IFS means uh,
So I don't think there is even a course needed.
hmm.
If you're here now, if you're eligible to write forest means you would need a course for that. Of course, you would need to revise. Of course, you need to go through the paper, but I don't think we are having a course right now.
All right. So we will also be sharing the details on the group, right? Telegram group about the course and other things. This video will also be uploaded on YouTube, right? So any other course related to forestry crash course? Anyone? Otherwise, we'll end the session here after. Okay, so Apoorv, do you want to add anything else from your side regarding the way to prepare or like how one should manage this? Like for those people who are writing mains and like civils mains, and they will be having just 40-50 days to prepare two new optionals. So what is your take, your like say last word to them?
See, my take would be this is a great chance to come to Labas now. Okay, this is a very good chance to get into the services. You may have just like 40-50 days to prepare, but those 40-50 days are enough to get into the services. So you have to have the intensity. I know after finishing civils means there is not a lot of you're drained, you're very short of energy, but it's just a last sprint of 50 days, and that is good enough to get into the services. So just make sure that you utilize that time well. You put in a lot of hours, because it will need a lot of hours. It needs a lot of intense preparation. And if I think if you're reading for 55 days and if you're just fresh from civil services means, the thing is you're already done with the GS paper. A big chunk of your time would be taken by the other optional. Okay, forestry will take just 2 weeks, and that is more than enough for forestry. And GK, since you're already done with your sales paper, I think GK should be GK paper should be easier for you. Just a little bit of nitty here and there that maybe we can talk on a separate session with respect to GK. And English is one thing that you can actually work upon, because English is very scoring, and you can actually create a lot of differential in English. A good score in English fetches you marks about 150, in this year about 150, 155, and a bad score could push you down to 120. So that's a 30-mark differential, which is a lot. Okay, so English is something again you can put a work on, but again a major chunk, like if you're studying for 50 days, about 40 days would be definitely be taken by the optionals. And in those 40 days, 25 days for one option, and about 14, 15 days for forestry.
All right. So like that should give
Yeah,
a
I
lot of.
think Sumana has raised her hand. She wants to ask something.
Sir, just because I wanted to take up this course because it would take around 2 to 3 weeks. You told that. So, sir, I'm starting my preparation right from September or August mid. So, will it be wise for me to take the course and work upon my forestry, or I should prepare for the prelims itself?
Are you applying mains in this year or are you preparing for next year?
She's
So
targeting
next year I
23.
will be attempt 2023.
So you can take this course and you can wrap up your forestry. That would be, this is the shortest, shortest that you'll be any complete.
Okay, sir.
All right. So like that should give a lot of clarity and belief to the students, right? Preparing for IFS means this year or the next year, right? So okay, so like we will end the session here. Apoorv is always accessible through Telegram also. Apoorv has his channel, his group also. I'll share the link on the description of this video on YouTube. As well as we also have this Planet Geology also have a dedicated forestry group now. So you can also join that. So I'll share both the links there, right? Okay. So Apoorv, we can end the session here, right? And maybe if needed, when the course start, we can sometime have a short session again, right?
Okay, sir. Definitely, sir.
Okay. So like thank you Apul for like sparing time for this and given the training is going on in Lavasna, right?
So thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you so much all of you for joining in.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you all. We will end the session here, right?